All right, guys, and we'll be doing a couple of questions here, and then as well, if you'd like to participate in the draw, please fill out your survey, and the ushers will be collecting that as well. So, okay, let's start with one. We've got Dr. Lubin. As we age, we lose muscle mass. Any suggestions to regain muscle in old age?
Can you hear me? Yes, you can. I'm afraid aging is loss. Sorry, but it is. But you can hold off the loss by keeping fit. And many years ago, the Scandinavians showed that you could really keep your fitness for a very long, long time. You're not likely to win an Olympic medal when you're 80. However, there are people who are in their 80s who are fitter than some people who are 25. So some of it is inevitable, you're going to lose it, but you can actually do an amazing amount and retain an amazing amount in spite of some loss.
Anyone else want to say anything about that?
Dehydration. You need to move to hydrate your connective tissue, your fascia tissue, and the movements. It's a simple kind of pumping action and flossing sensation that will happen to the connective tissue and fascia to keep you hydrated. You just got to keep moving.
Okay. So regarding Pilates, what's the difference between yoga and Pilates other than the way they do your exercises?
Great question, and I knew someone would ask it. Several things. Yoga tends to have maybe what you might think of as spiritual aspect to it. Pilates has that too, but we don't speak to it so much in a class setting. It's your own personal experience that will happen. So that's, some people are attracted to Pilates because of that. As I said, Joseph Pilates did have an influence of the Eastern movement modality of Pilates, and in some of our exercises you'll see similar poses, but Pilates keeps you moving. So we very rarely hold a position or a pose. We continue to breathe and move and allow for that flossing-like sensation I just spoke to help us stay hydrated and flexible.
And regarding SCRD, could you guys say a little bit more about how you plan your programming and say anything about the possibility of maybe some more evening programs for both young and old, whether it be aquafit or yoga, and just let the audience know a bit more about how you go about creating your programs and how you take into consideration schedules and lives.
Am I on? I am. Okay, so we have a few planning cycles per year, so we're always planning far in advance. So right now, we are planning for the January to June of 2019, and we do have some challenges with finding qualified instructors on the coast who are available, so that is a challenge that we have. We also have a challenge with space. Our facilities are getting busier and busier, which is a good thing. So we do try and balance the evening and the daytime classes, and it is hard, and it's something we are constantly working with. And I would say that we constantly get comment cards and things like that, and we do track those, and we do review them before we make decisions and before we plan. So I would say that is how we take into consideration, that's one of the ways that we take into consideration what the community wants about timings and things. We also monitor the stats, so the attendance of classes and the popular ones versus the slower ones. And on the slower ones, we do look to tweak things through working with our instructors and perhaps doing a little bit of engagement with that group to find out what they would like to see, so how we could improve it so that maybe we can get some more people. Do you have anything to add, Regan?
Yeah, between the facilities as well, we try to have a balance. So we try to make sure that whatever's happening, if we have a certain amount in Gibson's, we also want to offer a fair amount in Sechelt and in Pender Harbor as well, depending if we can find instructors for those programs. Definitely something that I'm getting with comment cards are what Jane just mentioned. People are wanting some evening classes, and my goal in the next few months is to try to find some more of those, as well as some morning classes, perhaps even in Gibson's. So if you know of anyone who is interested or certified in certain things and they would like to teach something, then send them our way. Always open to discuss that.
Fantastic, thanks. And one's just come in here and it's directed to all of you, so maybe you could pass the mic. How do your own health and wellness goals inspire your work? And can you give us an example of what you do?
What do I do? I ski a lot. I used to be a doctor with the ski patrol in Whistler, and I ski 25, 30 times a year. I cycle a lot. I cycle to work at UBC, where I work, which is going up the hill from Kitsilano, and to my other work, which is on Broadway. I go indoor climbing with a buddy. I started with him about 12 years ago. He was my closest friend, and he was the only child, and his mom was dying, and I thought it would distract him, and we are still climbing away. And I go hiking with my wife, Jean. And that's most of what I do.
I walk my dog in the forest. I do Pilates. I do yoga. And I dance. And I'm now teaching dance as well. So I perform and dance, and that can look like many different things depending on the project. I'm always open to exploring new ways of movement. I play soccer on a women's soccer team. And my kids, I have 3 teenagers, and they keep me active with different things. Skiing is a old-time favorite. Snowshoeing in the winter. I love cross-country skiing. I just do whatever I can, whenever I can do it.
We should all hang out, actually. I have similar interests. That's a great question, and I think my partner is here. She's here tonight. She probably gets sick and tired of me talking about how much I love when I see people active. If I see a cyclist on the road, I'm like, yes, push it up that hill. And so I do a lot of that. I cycle a lot. I swim and run. I try to take part in certain activities, some triathlon stuff. Not super competitive anymore, but just to get out and move. And yeah, anytime I get outside and for a hike, or we just got a puppy, so we're walking our puppy quite a bit, which is great. But lately it's definitely been triathlon stuff, so I'm looking to switch it up. But my biggest passion is definitely those 3 sports. So that's, but anything to do to get the blood flowing, I'm excited about.
Great question. I have 2 little snippets of information. So when I was 4, my dad had a heart attack, and I grew up with a dad that always had heart disease. And I, growing up, did not want to be like that. So it got me into being a fitness instructor, and then here I am on stage talking about fitness. So that was I've been passionate. I had a degree in kinesiology because I didn't want to live that lifestyle. Also, 2 years ago, I had a back injury where I played roller derby, which is hard on the body, and apparently. And after that, I was told that I could never play sports again, and I was told all these things. And actually, through Pilates, Kate is my instructor. I've been there for over a year, and now I'm about to start playing soccer again. So I'll see you on the pitch. So I'm pretty stoked about that, but I would say that fitness is a big part of my life, and the last 2 years have been a struggle on me mentally because I haven't had that in my life, and I've always had it in my life. So I'm really excited to get back to it. And yeah, if I was on the floor, the back pain you're talking about, on the floor, and I had to gradually walk to the end of the street and then come back, and that was like all I could do that day. And I'm very excited.